Colleagues, I'm happy to introduce to you Mr. Hans from Germany. He will be speaking and be reaching us from Germany this evening. He's not a new person to us. He has presented to this group in the past. I'm happy to welcome him to our midst today. And he will be presenting on ceramic layering. He's a man who has so many years of experience, as much as 46 years. We're glad to have him share his experiences with us on ceramic layering this evening. I'm glad he spared out time to speak with us. And he has promised that he will definitely from time to time share with us out of his very rich experiences. We are having all our colleagues from Nigeria. We hope those from other African countries will be joining us as they have previously indicated interest. So I will leave you now with Mr. Hans to make his presentation on ceramic layering. Mr. Hans.
Thank you very much for the introduction. I'm very happy to do this webinar. It's the third now I do, and I want to do a little bit practice today. Last time we spoke about colors, about the magic of colors, how they work together, what we can do with the colors, all these topics about colors. You can have a look on what we spoke about in YouTube. If you look for Joachim Burkhardt, you will find my name. Olufemi has also the links for you, and you can follow it afterwards. If you did not see the last time, you can probably repeat or research what we spoke about. Now, all theory is nothing worth without a good bit of practice. And I want to let you see a little bit about my daily work now. I'm a ceramist, not only ceramist, I'm an all-rounder. But ceramics is one of the challenges we have. It's not, in my opinion, it's not the king glass. We also have other topics in our profession that are very interesting and very fascinating. But ceramics is that what all the young people, if they start studying the profession, are dreaming of to do. And I think some of you might have the same dreams. But it's a huge mountain you have to climb up to get a good ceramist. And that was what I did many years ago. I started a course series with the company Wegold in Germany. I started the course series in 1995, and until 2005, I did 150 ceramic courses, mostly with beginners. And this was a really good experience for me to get a training in the education and to perfectionize myself to I will say it's not high class. I think I can get what I want, and I know a lot of people, they have more experience, more fantasies about the ceramics and do it the better way. But we all have to live. We have to earn our money with the job we do. And insofar, I'm satisfied with what I got in these years. I'm in the business now since 46 years, and there is a lot of experience, of course, and now I want to share it. I want to give it back to the profession. It's time to give something back. Okay, I told about the company Wegold. This is, it's mirrored, sorry. I tried to figure it out, but I had no chance. The complete presentation will be a little bit improvisation because my webcam is not working good. It's flickering around and you cannot really see anything. So I decided to do it that way. Okay, I flipped the screen down now. to show you what I want to do. We have this course model I had done many years ago, and this is a former employee from me. It was a young lady, and they are missing 2 teeth, and these 2 teeth were extracted for orthodontics. This was a nonsense in many years ago, and meanwhile they don't do it anymore. So this was my course model, and this was one of the work I did the last years during presentations, also in exhibitions. I will do it. Where is it? I have one in metal, and I have one. This one is metal. You see, this is gold alloy, and there is the margin is in ceramic on this side, and on the other side the margin is also metal covered. You see it? It's good to see, I think. This is white, and this is in metal. You see, both is possible in metal and in zirconium. Okay, meanwhile, we have a lot of zirconium. We work almost everything in zirconium. Let me say it's 98% of our work is done in zirconium. And this is a zirconium frame, and as I see, it should be better to have a black background. Is it right? Give me a minute, not a minute, a second to switch it. So, it's not better, no? Isn't it?
Sure.
No, it's not better. Okay, zirconium frame. I do not do very thin frames. I do the stability of the framework. I do in zirconium as much as possible. There have been times in the beginning of zirconium we did the crowns, the caps about 0.3 millimeters in strength. But meanwhile, we are able to color the zirconium before sintering, and we get a tooth color out of the inner side of the crown, and so we can do a larger dentine area. So because our zirconium already is the area of natural dentine, and we don't waste the time and we don't waste the material making thin caps and layer a lot of ceramics. We try to layer only a little bit of ceramic and have we put on the inner core. The inner core is already our dentine core. So all this starts with layering thin layer of this one, a thin layer of ceramic. This is the bonder. This is the liner we have, and I want to show you now how we put on the liner and the first layer, what is giving the bonding strength on our framework. And this is what I want to show you at very first. Okay, I always have these little cups with my liner, and you see it's mixed very oily. And I don't need any pins in my frames to hold any grip. I do it like that. You see, I have it in my hands. Now I can put on, brush on my liner like that. It's a very simple way. There is no secret about. All sides. And I mix the liner material, the liner powder, I mix it with opaque fluid, because the original liner fluid is disappearing too fast. So I do want to have a very thin layer of liner as a very first layer, And I do the next step is putting on natural mass. This is giving a little bit fluorescence in the material. I have my standard brush for that. Now I put it on like that. You see, it's like sprayed all over, not inside. I knock it down, and that's how I get this very thin layer. You can blow it out inside. There is no ceramic particles in there. Okay, this is a standard material we have in our assortment. You will find something similar in every assortment. You also can use, for example, any chromadentine, any intense dentine, whatever you want to get with the complete work. If you have a very colorful work, you can use the colorful first bake with the dentine. Yes, whatever you want. I would not say take opaque dentine, because always what is opaque is wasted space for translucency. Yes, you can save a lot of space if you avoid opaque dentine in the body area. You can, if you take opaque dentine there, you waste the possibility to use anything with more chroma, like, for example, chromadentines. Yes. So, and this is fired now at the temperature of the liner. In this case, it's fired at about 960 degrees. Together with the natural mass, it's much too high for the ceramics, but it's a very, very strong bonding. So, and after firing, it's coming out like that. I switch it, like this one. Okay, it's coming out like that. It's sparkling a little bit. And if you look, a slice of a natural tooth, you will see there is between dentine and enamel is a very thin layer of transparent material. So, and that's what we do, what we get by this layer also. So if we do the shape of the dentine core like a natural tooth, almost like a natural tooth in size, and we have a very stable construction, and we have also with this translucent layer, we have the natural reflects of a natural tooth because of the layer. Now, this is only what we do to prepare the framework for bonding the ceramics. Now we do the next thing. It's like that. This is the next thing we do, and I show you what I want. Where is it? Hidden. What I want to get with the next step. This is the next step I want to get. You see, it's the same framework, but it has color. The one has nothing, the other has color. It's not really good to see. I will do in the sample, I will do a little bit more that you can see it, whatever it has. It gets. We take some fluid, and for example, for the margin, we can put on our stains by mixing it up. Our stains for the margins, for example. You see how it's changing? It's not anymore white. I put on a little bit more that you can see it more clearly. This is too much for the patient work normally, but it's for presentation. It's interesting to see. You see? It's nothing special. You can now, if you have a patient and you want to do work, you can now paint exactly what you see in the mouth on the framework. Yeah, if there is any blue or violet, for example, in the incisal area, you paint it violet. You see? If you have any brown spots, for example, deep inside, you often find them in the approximal area. You can put it on. You can put it on the framework. And what happens then, if you fire that, you will not need to do anything more like that. So you can overlayer it with a normal dentine, and it will come through from the deep side, from inside. Also, the palatal area, you can give it a lot of color. You see? It's not perfect because it's much too much, but doesn't matter. You can see it. You can see it what we are able to do. This is called internal staining. And you can do it normally with every ceramic system you have. If you have, for example, Vita or you have Noritake or something like that, it's always possible to do the internal staining with this material. Okay? If you, for example, have, let's take it off, brush it away. If it was too much, you just brush it away. Okay? Now, for example, you have a long tooth and want to add some gingiva. You just take a bit of red. And you can make up this area where you want to have afterwards, where you want to build on gingiva. You can paint it like that. You almost have the right color fitting to the environment. Okay? That's a very simple way to get beautiful effects. But on the other hand, what you have done once and overlaid it, you will not be able to get it off. Yeah, you have to grind it off completely and start by new, sandblasting it, for example. Oh, I forgot about the preparation, preparing the framework for working, to speak about that. We do normally, we work out our framework before sintering completely, the margins, everything. So we have nothing to do, possibly nothing to do after sintering, because every grinding, every milling can stress your material, and probably it could break if you do it too fast. So if it's possible, we do all before sintering, and just the margins, the end of the margins, we do after layering with a rubber wheel. Nothing with a stone or diamond or something like that, just a rubber wheel. Okay, are you seeing these stripes in the screen, the red stripe?
Sure.
I don't know where it's coming from.
The red stripe.
It's on my, I don't know where it's coming from.
We shouldn't bother about that.
Pardon?
Let's not bother about that. We're just interested in what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what it is. And okay, this was the second step. You see, and we also do a fire cycle with that. But we reduce the temperature. The normal firing temperature of dentine and enamel is, this ceramic is 780 degrees, and we fire this at about 580 only. Yes, just to get it fixed, on the surface, that it does not smear away if you put on the ceramics. The reason why we go forward like that is the ceramics can increase the thermal expansion value, how is it called, CET in English, by firing very often. So we try to do it only as low as necessary. And 580, 520 is something like that. It's good enough to stick it on. Okay, these have been the first 2 steps, 3 steps. I have prepared more.
Okay.
Okay. See that? This will be the next. And now we need a model. Does not fit perfect on the model, but it doesn't matter. To get it sticked on the model, we have a gel like that. It's called tack gel from DVA in America. But I will tell you a little secret. You also can use ultrasonic gel. You know, if you go to the doctor and he's doing ultrasonic, he has a gel to get the sound into your body, the ultrasonic into your body. And this gel you also can use for sticking on your model. Just take a little bit. Now you can stick it on your model and it will not drop down. Okay? That's how you easy can work with it. Okay, this was the first step. Now I have to arrange it a little bit different. These are not the conditions to have beautiful work. I have my ceramic plate. It is from Smiline, and it doesn't matter if you use a glass plate or a wet plate or something like that. It does not matter at all. For me, it's more comfortable because I use this material, for example, on Friday, and I don't want to waste the material. It's too expensive to waste. So if I put it on a wet plate like that, for example, or anything else, you can do it yourself. If you, you can use anything you want. It's no problem at all. So now I have the material, and I don't need to waste it, right? Okay, mixing ceramics. We don't really need to mix ceramics. You must see the mixing of ceramics is a relic from the 70s. We had very small and bigger particles in our boxes, in our tins, and they had to be mixed because by transport the heavier pieces are settling down. So we had to mix it. And a lot of colleagues, I still see that very often, use a spatula. And where is mine? Well, where is it? I can't find my spatula. Sorry, I'm actually looking for my tools. There is one. This is the Tanaka spatula. This is what I like very much. It's thin, it's a little bit flexible. And you must see, it is enough if you do like that. You see, It must not be mixed like this and turned around and again. You just pump air inside, and this is not necessary. This is not good for the ceramic if you put air inside. And there beside I have a little sponge. It's from the kitchen, standardly sponge, and I have my water cup. You see, with clear water, nothing else. Just touch it. You see? It's good enough. Okay. What we always see if we do zirconium bridges, you see that this line is looking, if you look through the light, that this line is visible. So this is the only thing I use opaque dentine by lengthening my teeth, nothing else. Just making them a little longer. See? And if you want to have this mamelon structure, you can do this longer than the other tooth is, and you will get this mamelon structure in your teeth. A little bit further here. So here, make it longer. And if you want to do any intensive color, for example, any orange core in there, you can take your chroma dentine and you will get, where is the effect? And you will get these orange effects with the chroma dentine. It's also a dentine, not an opaque dentine, but it has much more color inside. So that's nothing special. Everybody is able to do that.
Sure.
Yeah, just you need some practice, of course, to get it done. If you want to have another color, for example, a lighter one for the center of, you can do it with another thing. This now is opaque dentine in A3, A3. This is everything A3, and now we have a little core in A2.
You need to move your hand a little down so we can see you.
I've just seen it.
Okay, well, I've seen it now. Yeah.
Okay, this is A3, A3, everything is A3, but here we have a little core in A2, for example. Whatever you imagine, whatever you see in the mouth, whatever the doctors give you, you need a photograph to see what there is, if they are possible to send you one by email or by WhatsApp or whatever. If they don't want, you should do a little training with the assistants to give you at least a picture of what they see. You must give them a little training if it's possible. I don't know the conditions in that country. If the clients are far away, if they are far away, you need the information, what they see, and you have to work with their eyes. And they have to understand that you only can do what they want if they tell you what they see. I know it's a long process to get accepted like that, but there is no help. Okay, we have done at the margins, we have done an intense color. You see, it's painted. So we don't need to do it on that. We just can begin layering our dentine. It will look through, and we just put on our dentine. There is nothing special. This is very simple. It's just one step after the other, and your imagination, what you want to have as a final result. the difficulty in those presentations is really to that you have no perfection, that this is not possible in my opinion. So now we have a little bit too much water in there. So we can take it off with a tissue. Just a very short touch with the tissue to get the surface water out. And the model should be isolated. Yes? If the model is not isolated, the model will take you the water out of your ceramics and you have no control about the ceramics. Also your brush, the brush is very important. If you have a brush that it's too big, you have too much water. If you have, for bigger cases, if you have a small brush, for example, like that, painting brush, you can work with this. It's no problem. You can layer with this, but you have no control about the water. And that's what's important. If the ceramic is flowing, if it's too soft, it will flow. And if it's too hard, you cannot get it condensed in any way. It's also possible to have a small brush, or even a very small brush is possible. Yeah. If you want to do any fine lines, you also can do it with a very small brush. This is the smallest I have, just a few hair. It's like my head, only a few hair. So now if you want, for example, if you want to have a natural looking front, complete front, for example, then go on and do the canine a little bit darker. In this example, maybe a 3.5, A3, a 2.5, a mixture of A2 and A3, or make A3 with more enamel. So this is getting lighter, this is getting a little bit darker, and this is darker. And so you have a transition of light, and it's always looking natural. What are these red stripes from? I don't know where it's coming from. I have no clue where it's coming from. Let's ignore it. Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. If you do from front to the canines a little bit darker and get a little bit lighter, then the canine will look in the mouth will look darker. But this is normal. This is, if you look in your mouth, take a mirror and look in your mouth, you will see the canine always is the darkest tooth. Why is it? The canine has a very long root, a really long root, and a big root. And this root is covered with nerves. So if you look animals, you have in Africa, you have more animals like we have here. But if you look, dogs or cats maybe, they have long canines. And these canines are to grab their food and pack it and hold it. But in the human skull, the bone over the canine root is very thin, though it is not made for packing something, for catching something. It's a very sensible organ we have in our mouth, and if you see how the bite is working, then you must see, you open the mouth, put in your food, and now you go over the canines and the anteriors back to the centric. And this is, the canine is not made for strength, it's made for sensibility. And that's why it does not need so much enamel, because enamel is the hardest material we have in the body. It does not need so much enamel, and therefore it's a little bit darker like the others. That's very simple. Okay, let's go forward. We do less Do less dentine. Oh, more dentine, less enamel at the canines. Like that. You also see it's very flowy. Now we can do what we see here. Maybe I hope you see that there is orange here, for example. So we can do it with any other on top of the tip. We can do it like that. Okay. Now we can do the complete structure. I will not finish it all. It needs too long time. We have not the time to do it perfectly. And it's also for me not the conditions to do it perfectly. But I think you know what we can do is that we can wash out, for example, to get a form. Yeah, I don't like to build up and scratch it down. I like to give the form while building up. It's not necessary. I have colleagues. They put on the complete tooth. They do it completely in dentine, for example, and then they start scratching with any instruments. Yeah, I also have these instruments. For example, this one. Yeah, I have them, but I don't use them. Look what is happening when I use them. I scratch in things I cannot handle. So I do it with a brush, and that's why the brush needs a good tip, a very thin tip. You see? The brush has enough water. You can put it in the water. Now it's wet. Now almost nothing. And there I can do these things also, what I need. Okay, so now we have, imagine we are ready with this form and we do in the next firing, okay? It's rough build up, fast and easy, and we do the next firing. And after that, where is it? I had it before, this one. After that firing, we will have a result like that, for example. You can imagine the different colors that are built in. And if you see what the original color is inside, it's much brighter than what we have outside. You see? This is all painted or layered in different colors. And now again, switch it. I take back my colors. And I can do the same what we did before. For example, I see this is too light. This one, the canine is too light. So I can go on and put on color on the canine. Again, the same what we did at the framework, we can do again. We can paint some blue edges, for example. You see, it's not a kind of artist or a kind of talent to do a technique that is simple. You have several steps, and each step you can do a correction for that. So if it didn't work, if you see, okay, I have layered it wrong, you just grind it down and do it again. You can fire it again. If it's too light, you can color it. If it's too dark, you can grind it off and put something other on. You have chances over chances to correct what you do, one step after the other. And every step you have possibilities to correct. Another thing, you know, teeth, they have white spots in. Wherever they come from, I don't know, it might be in the water, that might be in the food, that might be in the pregnancy. You can put on, you see, you can put on these spots now without enamel. And you will see if you put the enamel over that, they will come from the depth outside. They are looking much more natural if you paint it on the surface. Again, if you did it wrong, you have to do it again. That's the deal. Either you do it or not. Painting surface. That's one of my most hated topics. We actually have in the profession, I switch on do the monitor different. We actually have the problem in the business. We have a lot of full zirconium grounds and bridges.
Sorry, can you stop sharing your screen now so we can see you clearly?
It's not to see?
Can you stop sharing your screen?
Ah, okay. Wait, where's my mouse?
Okay.
Because of the red stripes?
Yeah. Now we can listen to your explanation now more. And
yeah,
we've got the practical session. And
no, it's good?
No, okay, you can stop your screen so that we can listen to you. Yeah, stop sharing your screen.
It's okay.
You just
I don't mind. I don't mind if you. I can put it back. So it's okay.
Okay.
Is it okay?
It's okay. No stripe again.
Okay. Now, what I wanted to say, we actually have the problem that we have a lot of full zirconium, and we have these monolithic grounds. We have the possibility to paint it before sintering, but it's not perfect. So it's the business has started to do painting after sintering. Also these Emax grounds and things like that. A lot of people do painting after sintering or after firing. But you must know, all what you put on the surface will be worn out after a while. So we cannot say how long it will need. But we have seen, for example, I have a skull in my cabinet. There is, it was a man about 40 years old, completely abraded teeth. Why was it? It was an Asian. We suppose it was from Vietnam, from the Vietnam War. This skull was coming from. It's a very good study object, and they had they eat a lot of rice. So if you eat a lot of rice, you have a lot of sand in there, and it's abrading the surface of your teeth. Also, toothpaste, other food will abrade your teeth, and if the surface is painted, the paint will be washed off relatively fast. So everything what you do in the surface will be gone after a while, and your perfectly fitting crown 2 years later, 5 years later, will not fit anymore. So in my opinion, we have to put in the color inside and not outside. That's what I actually hate here in Europe. They all want to have cheap, and do full contour zirconium, full contour press ceramic, and paint the surface with everything they can get. And this is, for me, it's on one hand it's okay because we do everything again in a few years, but with my hands I want to produce work that is lasting for a long time, 10, 15, 20 years. The longer the better. Yes, that's what I want to do. And so far I hate these surface painting, but internal painting, this is always a good thing. You see what we can do. I do a little bit too much, it's okay, just for presentation. Here I have a little bit orange. Let's do it orange. See what we can do. Internal, more intensive. Okay, we had at first, we had a painting of the framework. Now we have a painting of the first bake, and we will have a third painting at the finish. Okay. So I wash these off. We do the same firing that we did before. I wash this off and continue with my layering.
Okay.
And was it before? Take that off. I again use my tactile. You also, if you have nothing else, you can use Vaseline, for example. But Vaseline contains a lot of carbon, and this might this might get dark spots in your ceramic. So I think it's better to take anything like that. It's water-based. These ultrasonic gels and things like that are water-based. So for the incisal edges, I normally use enamel, and I have this is gray. You don't need a knot, but it's not enough. And again, searching my spatula. There is it. I have my fluid with a needle, you see. The dentists have these needles for their tools, and we also can use it. We can use a lot of the tools what dentists have. You just have to think about the box and look around what is usable for us.
Okay.
This is example blue. Now, I want to have this blue a little bit more intensive to get it visible. I take something like that. You see that? It's a pen. And I put some water beside. You see what's happening? Also a very simple trick. You must check if you get materials that are firing out completely. Another way you will have a grayish effect. But now you can exactly see where you put these on. And I have a lot of them. See, all different colors. The only I don't use is this one, the black one. But the others we can use for other things. For example, if you want to have the gray visible, take another color, put a little. And no, there was a blue in there. And if you want to control yourself, you always use the same color for the same purpose. I, for example, always use green if I have an opal mass. Yeah? For opalescence, I use green. For enamel, I use yellow or blue. And for dentine, I use red and or orange. Sorry.
Okay. So
again, we said we wanted to have more enamel on the anterior, on the central. And we do, basically, we do the same what we did before in the dentine. We put it on where needed, don't waste material, keep your material for the next patient. We once, when we had normal glass plates, from our courses, when we started the courses, we had normal glass plates. And I collected, over a weekend when I had a course, I collected the complete material that was wasted. Believe it or not, 50 grams for 10 people. And 50 grams of creation, for example, cost about 75 euro. Olufemi, what is it in euro? It's about $90, $80, something like that. Yeah, wasted, just wasted material, thrown away, washed down the sink. No, this is not good for us. This is not good for our money back. This is not good for the patient, because finally he has to pay it. You know, save the money. And if you see, every week you throw away $50 of material. What do you think? How long you need to pay $300 for that plate? In 6 weeks you have it paid, and you have it about 5 years if you don't break the glass. Now finally it's starting to get the round gets rough, and I think I have to buy a new one. Also, I just touch it, chuck, very soft. And now we can, what we have, gray, for example. You see? Put it on. We want to have blue edges. I will not finish the complete, just to show you what is possible. Okay, now we want to have individual spots in there. What do you think? If you put on your enamel now, a very simple thing, a bit of dentine in here, what do you think what you will see afterwards? It's just a less translucent stripe of the same color, because we have the dentine in the base and we have it now in the surface also, but it will not disturb. You will have a very fine stripe of yeah, it's the same color, but it's another translucency, you see? And now you can put all this under the enamel and build up the complete form of, what's the time? Yeah, we are good in time, right? And now you can build up the complete form with the brush, and also put in the surface texture with the brush. You don't need to grind a lot. Everything you grind away is wasted material and wasted time to build it up. So keep care in building up, save your material, it's money. And we all, if you live in Africa or not, we always have not enough money. I think it's the same in your country as in mine, right? So why wasting material? Why wasting time? Why wasting money? So build it up. What we did here with the dentine, we can do here with blue, for example. Give him a stripe. The incisional edge, we can do with transparencies, we can do it with gray, we can do it with anything we want. But what do you think? You know the teeth that have this halo effect. You know the halo effect, what it is? This is the creamy line at the very last edge of the incisional edge. You know, it's looking like a little bit creamy. And you can do it very, very simple, really very simple. Take just a little bit dentine and put it on the incisional edge. Only a little bit dentine, just like painting. What we are doing in the ceramics is nothing else than 3D painting. You know, if you are able to paint a horse or something like that, you do it two-dimensional, yes? But if you are modeling a horse in wax or in whatever, you do it three-dimensionally. And we do nothing else than three-dimensional painting, right?
Three-dimensional.
Okay. Of course, we have a shrinkage. It's not good if we have not enough material. So I make it a little bit longer. And if you cut it afterwards with the rubber wheel, the length, you will get natural looking incisal edge, because normally our teeth have abrasion on the incisal edges, and the layers, the different layers in your tooth are broken. So if you have the natural layering and cut it afterwards, you will have almost, if you did the right layering, almost the same effect. The rear side, I don't do it for the patient, because the patient is not seeing it, you know. The rear side, I do for me and for the dentist. If the dentist is seeing, oh, look what a fantastic rear side he has done, he knows you have done all you can. You have done your best. Yeah, he will see. He will honor it if he sees it. The patient is not interested. He doesn't see it any time. You know, even if he is brushing his teeth and mirroring his teeth, he will not notice what you did in the rear side. But yourself, you can do a good training in the rear side, and you can have beautiful effects. You can have beautiful, you just can play around and can do training. It's nothing else like what you can do on the rear side. Okay. My model has a small problem. These teeth are a little bit too far outsides. That's always, since ever, was the same problem. I don't do the others. It's the same way. We do less. I can do it a little bit. Yes, we still have time. You see, the layer is much thinner. Why? I want to get the tooth darker. So even if I have the same amount of, the same color of dentine, I did not change the dentine color from a 2 to a 3.5, for example. This will be darker because it had less enamel, right?
Got it.
Now you can do it. You see here, I think, yeah, it's to see. For example, here is a horizontal line, and we have vertical lines also in this tooth. You see? You can also do these horizontal lines here, the same height. And we can do the vertical lines also. Where are they? It's not easy to work overhead. Okay? Okay? The others, yeah, makes no sense to do them. Okay, this was, now we put it in the oven and fire it. Good. If this is done, we will have to do corrections. And probably you have to grind a little bit. I want to say a surface that is not ready must not be grinded. You know, it's also wasted time to grind overall. I know colleagues, they grind over the complete tooth and put in some structures and this, and then they take the brush and layer ceramics over that. That's wasted time. If you need material, put it on, and if you don't need, leave it how it is. If you just need to grind at the Pontic to get it fixed and the approximate contact areas, nothing more. Yeah, nothing more. And if it's too large, you can grind it afterwards. You don't need to grind now. You know, afterwards is also possible. So there was a topic Pontic. Just what I said right now.
Okay.
I take that off. I put it on my tissue. Hopefully without dropping down. Okay. So I can put it on the table and add the material for the Pontic by hand. You don't need to do it on the model. If your structure is almost fitting to the Pontic, you just have 0.5 millimeter to add after that, and you can do it by hand, freehand, and fire it with the other and grind it afterwards. Okay? So if you fire it, your firing cycle should be adjusted. Now, how to explain? We started the first firing for the liner with 950 degrees in this case. Depends on what materials you do. If you have a metal frame, you have the opaque. It's the same thing. If you have liner or if you have opaque, it's the same thing. So we start at the high temperature, and now we go down to the temperature of your dentine. And the first dentine bake, and now this covering all the surface again, can be the same temperature. Don't reduce the temperature. If you cover almost of your work, again, keep the temperature up. Only if you have to correct small things. You lost a contact point. You lost incisal edge was rounded a little bit too much. Very, very small things. Then reduce your temperature, not before. Reduce your temperature 10, 20 degrees. You have to check it out. You have to try it out, how it works best. And if your correction has influence on your first bake, then something is wrong with the temperatures. You know, the correction should not influence this bake we put now. We have a first dentine bake and we have a second dentine bake, but both dentine bakes have been at the same temperature. And if a correction is influencing your dentine bake, you have any problem wherever to search your temperatures or your layering system is not correct. Yeah. If your shrinkage is too much, you can give it a little bit more you don't need this. I don't know the word in English. You don't need to do that. It's nonsense. Just touch it with the brush, with the tip of the brush. Knock it a little bit. Yeah. For example, if you want to, let me take that. I have a very good instrument. This one is also a very good instrument. These are plastic, and I can put it inside and hold it like that. See, if I want to condense it, That's enough. It's enough condensation. If it's completely dried, you will not have any condensation. You need a specific amount of water to get the particles shrink together. If this is completely dried, you will never have a condensation, and you have a lot of shrinkage after firing. So if it's humid, not wet, humid, you will have. And if it's too dry, just take a little bit liquid or something like that. Put, you see, this was only a very small drop. You see, disappeared immediately. That's what you can do to avoid shrinkage. Your upper, whoops, nothing happened. It's condensed good. Okay, your approximate contacts. You can do on the side, you can do, for example, a little bit more chroma. Yeah, intensive. Start at the margin, put it on there, and then go over there with the enamel. And if you like to have it, put the edge in blue. Okay? Good. Now after that firing, it will come out like this. I put this away. Yeah, it will come out like this. You can imagine the different colors you see. It's hard to see, I know, by the internet, but you see the different colors. You see the grayish, bluish edges. You see the color deep inside. Also here, this is was chromadentine here inside, the enamel layering around. And you see there is missing material at the margins. Here also at the margin is too rough. And there are very small cracks inside between the teeth. You see? Now, how can we correct it? This is not the right instrument for it. I take this one. You can hold it. You see again, no holding pins, nothing. I just take this one. These holding pins, these are relicts from the 60s, 70s. We had a lot of these. And once a friend of mine, it was a lady in my age, good friend, she got a crown from us, and I made the crown, and I thought it was pretty, it was good. But one day she came and said, yeah, I can buy it, it's fine, but if I clean my teeth, I always see this black spot. It was on the rear side of a molar, and she took a mirror and checked her teeth if they are brushed correctly, and saw this gold area, and she thought it is a black spot. So when I thought, how to avoid these black spots? I don't need any pins. I don't need any small, how is it called, margins, you know, around the crown, this area. A lot of people do that in metal, and they put in here in between metal. It's not necessary. It's nonsense. It was in times when we had alloys that have been moving while firing, you know. This is many years ago. We don't need it anymore. We can do white down up to the final edge. Where is my metal bridge? Yeah. Drop down. Also here. I hope you can see it.
Yes, we can.
I've shown it before. The gold margin is going outside, and it's very thin. You can check it maybe with a tissue. Let me see if it's possible to show it. A white background. You see the margin? how thin it is, do it bigger. Of course, it's not to compare with the margin in ceramics. You see, that's another one. And I have here in the canine, I have the margin in metal, and in the front, I have the margin in ceramics. That's a huge difference, of course. But no pins, no these structures, the visible structures are necessary. Nothing, nothing at all. So I hold it like that, and depending on what I want to do, I take my where is it? Here. Yeah. I take a liquid ceramic and put it in the interdental spaces. And now I do it. You see? That was me. That was my keyboard around, and I had my arm on my keyboard. Now it's flowing. If you have watery, you see, this is watery now. It's not creamy anymore. It's watery. You also can do it with the margins. This watery. You don't need a lot of material. You just need to fill some small gaps or to smoothen it all a little bit. And there is nothing, absolutely nothing grinded at this bridge. Why? It's not necessary. I put it away. You can wash it all over. And again, what you can do now, in this state, you can paint it again. Yeah, surface painting. And cover it with a very thin layer of transpamas, for example. Or you also can do it after the last firing. But you have to cover it with glaze, you know? Working with painting with stains and not glazing it afterwards, in my opinion, it's a failure. It's a bad failure because it will be brushed off. And it will be brushed off very soon. So putting back on the model, we are able to do any corrections. You know that, how to do. I prefer to do it with transpamas, with enamel only, just to complete the form. You need everything else should be at this stage should be in, and just need some very small corrections of that. Okay, this procedure, you know, it's now. You can also do before this firing. You can do the surface structure. I want to show you something about the surface structure. This is also very interesting. We have our normal liquid. The normal liquid is watery. We also have water. It feels almost safe. This is a little bit stronger. The surface strength is a little bit different. But we also have this one. And this is very oily. Yeah? This is very oily. Now you can do I have opal mass. You see, I have done probes for the material and sticked it on the cover to see what material it is. Now I put from this opal mass, I think I have to buy a new one. I put it on the oily liquid and mix it watery. Put a little bit of the liquid beside. take it from there to get the right mixture. And now we take a small brush. Maybe you know this one. This is from Mythotis, if you know the man. And now you can wash on your complete surface. You can wash on transfer mass, and you can give it with the liquid the complete structure. You see, if you use this liquid internal, it will explode, but on the surface you can do it with the complete structure. Also the incisal edges, you can build up the incisal edges. And all what you can do in now, exactly at this moment, you don't need to grind. Yeah, it's easier to model it than grinding it. You know it from other work also. It's much easier. And if you're color from the inside, we sometimes have the patients coming in the lab, and depending on the patient's wishes, I offer him, if you want and have the time and you want to come, I call you if I'm ready to show you the next step. And then we take off the provisional and try in the bridge and look what has to be changed. Yeah, we exactly have a plan what we have to do. I have my paintings, I have my photographs, but I do some checks. In this state, for example, before I do these corrections, I do the check. And I look in the mouth, is what I did until now fitting or has it to be corrected? And so then you slowly work together with the patient until his final result. And in my opinion, a good result is given if you don't see it anymore. It must not be perfect. Some people want to have white teeth. Yes, okay, I give them white teeth. I don't discuss about tooth color. No, it's not worth. If one wants to have a single central, it must fit. And there is no discussion about tooth color. It must fit. And if it's a A4, then it's a A4. And if it's A1, then it's A1. I don't discuss about him because it must fit. But if he is getting a front complete like that, for example, from canine to canine, we can talk about, and he can tell me his wishes, what he wants. If he wants white like a toilet bowl, it's okay, he will get it. Yeah, if he wants to have it natural, he also can get it. I can put some color inside. And if it's not wanted, we had patients, they wanted pure white. Whatever, they wanted pure white. It's American style. I don't like it. Okay. Yeah, I think our hour is almost over. I show you now at least on the last. This is after that, after grinding and polishing. I polished it, everything is polished, and it should come out. Put it a little bit more into, yeah. It's not very sharp, but I think it's good to see what we have put in there. Also, let me try if I can show you backlight. Wait a second. What is it? No, I can show you backlight. If you see it in the backlight, also you can see through, and you also have nice the polishing of the surface. I always do polishing. It should look like a wet tooth, in my opinion, because the only thing you can do good margins, fitting margins, and a smooth surface to give the patient a chance that his gingiva will accept your artificial work. If it's rough, if the margin is not fitting, you will have infection in your gingiva. You will lose the tooth over a longer or shorter time. And you should, everything what is in contact with the gingiva should be perfectly polished, my opinion. I know people, they have other opinions, but this is my opinion and this is my experience over these many years. And I started ceramics, the first crown I did, it was in 1975, I think. I did the first ceramic crown. Okay, my friends, any questions? I hope a lot.
Great.
All of me?
Yeah. Maybe now you can, okay, you can stop showing your screen. If we need to go back in a question, though we allow only a few questions, then we will be able to go back again. So maybe, okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone that is still in attendance. I'm happy that we have seen the masterpiece, how bits and pieces of ceramic materials are put together and led to the emergence of a masterpiece, a crown that we're so proud of. I'm happy for this time that you have spent to explain all this to us. Now, we will allow very few questions so that if we can continue this discussion later, but I think we allow a few questions so that it can help our understanding. Mr. Omatayo Ebenezer has already raised his hand to give us a question. Mr. Matayo. Yeah, Mr. Matayo, can you unmute yourself and ask your question? You raised your hand already.
Yes. Can everyone hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Hans. That was a very impeccable lecture. And I must say, I learned a lot from it. I learned so much from it.
Thank you.
The question I want to ask is on the halo effect you mentioned. You said that the halo effect is this kind of a creamy line you see on the incisal edge of every tooth.
Yes.
So, I want to ask you, how do we come about that creamy paint? Is it supposed to be on the dentine layer, or it comes with the chroma staining, internal staining from the opaque stage? I want to get how you come about the halo effect. And then secondly, I want to ask about the fact that you made mention of, and I'm hearing that for the first time, that the canine is the darkest tooth in the mouth. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Don't check me, these are grounds.
yeah, of course. It's quite surprising. So the question I want to ask now is this: in fabricating any restoration for every patient now, does it mean you replicate that dark shade on probably the distal side, or is it supposed to be on the distal side of every canine now, or the mesial side, or you just replicate that dark shade on both sides?
Yes.
These are the two questions I have to ask.
We do. If we have, it depends what the patient is wanting. You see, we know that we have to, that we should give from the front to the canines a little bit more shade changing. And we always do it. Sometimes we do it really extremely. It was in November. In November was a patient. She had A1 in the incisals, in the centrals, and she had A3.5 in the canines. And in between, we have done a mixture of A2 and A3, A2.5, let me say. Yes, this was extremely. But normally we do, what we do in every case is that we do it with the layering. We do the same color in the framework because we dip the framework in our liquid. And insofar we have the same color for the framework. And we just increase the enamel in the incisals and reduce the enamel in the canines. And so we get this effect from lighter to darker.
Okay, I get that.
Let me say one thing to that. You also can try to do that. I don't know if you are working with patients with fully dentures. You also can try to do that with fully dentures. You know, you also have the chance to change the color from lighter to darker. Just if you have the patients by side, just put in the darker teeth and look how it looks in the mouth. It looks very natural, and that's what we want to have, natural looking teeth.
Okay, I think.
Okay.
Okay, do you
I got that well.
Okay.
Yeah. Over to the other question now, the halo effect.
The halo effect, yes. The halo effect, this is in the nature, it is a fraction of light, yes? Because the material is ending, there is a reflection of light. It's not a question of material. The enamel is cut off and you have a reflection of light. I think I'm not sure, I think it has to do with the angulation, maybe. And, but we have to cheat the eyes, and we need any trick what we can do. I want to say, if you stay in the color family, you can do whatever you want. And if you, for example, if you put opaque dentine in dentine, you will have an effect. It's not disturbing, but you will have an effect. Also, if you put dentine in enamel, you will have an effect. If you put enamel in transfer mask, you will have an effect. Not disturbing. And this frame around the incisal edge with dentine is also an effect that is not disturbing and give the impression of an halo effect. It's very simple.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. I got that. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's give Michael a chance to ask his question. We will just take one or two questions, then we close. Michael has gone offline now. He will have been able to ask his question. Okay, Michael, you are back. Can you ask your question now? Okay, now any other question? Okay, while you're getting ready for that, let me make some observations, some comments about what Hans has presented to us. I think this will be useful to many of us. He did say that when you are missing your material, you don't miss it like you miss your plaster of Paris. If you do, you're going to get air trap into it, and that is not good. That is an important point that many of us should be aware of. Many times when we're missing in the lab, we miss as if we spatulate. The spatulation should not be such that you will get air trap into the ceramic material, which we
That's it. And this is giving shrinkage.
Yeah, it will affect the final work. I think that is one important thing he said about that. And again, he said at every point of your work, you can always make adjustment. Adjustment to color, to shape is possible. So, and it's very important that you are aware of that, so that you don't get worried that now this job has gotten a bad shape or color, then you get worried. You could always change that after a while. But one thing that interests me about what he said again is that you work with photograph. Hans, can you help us? Because sometimes photograph can be very deceptive. How is it possible that the photograph of the color of the teeth of patient can help a ceramist to get a good job done?
Yes. Look, where's my shaker? Wait a second, please. You know the Vita Shade Guide?
Sure.
Sure. For example, you have an A3. You imagine you have an A3. It's over internet, it's possibly not to see. The difference between A3 and B3 is marginal. So if you are sure it's an A shade, then put 3 of them together. Take A3, take A2, and take 3.5. And now you give that to the patient and take a photograph with 3 of them, not only 1, take 3. Okay. And then your technician can imagine what is fitting better, what he can do changes, because a tooth has areas. There is not this tooth color. Like we heard last time when I gave the lecture, it's not that tooth color. It is a lot of colors. The margin can be darker, then the incisal edges can have a different shade than the A3 normally would have. And this is what is necessary to transport to the technician. And also it's necessary to transport to the technician what is the stump underneath when you grind off the teeth as a dentist, grinding off the teeth, the enamel, what is coming out there? Very important in case of zirconium. If there is coming a brown tooth outside, then I have no chance to reconstruct it. I mean, maybe, possibly, I need to do another work. I need to do not a zirconium work. I have to do a metal work to cover that all. You know, the information. The more information you can get from your dentist, or I don't know if there are dentists in here. The more information you can give to your technician, the better result you can get. I will give you an example. You find that the tooth has A3, and now you grind off the enamel, and underneath you see there is a stump coming out, A3.5. What must happen to get an A3? It must be a light enamel. So you cannot use the standard enamel. You must use a lighter one, right? Still there? Okay. The other case is if you grind off the enamel and there is coming a lighter dentine, for example, A2, it must not be the standard enamel, it must be a light orange, because otherwise you don't get the A3, right? And these informations the dentist should give to the technician, that he is able to adjust that all to get a nice, natural looking result.
Okay, I think I got that now. It means that the technologists must have a lot of experiences to be able to match colors and make distinction between color shade and the natural teeth. I think this is very, very important because you also said in one of your statements that if a patient wants any color, you made it for him. I'm afraid that if you are in the case you just showed to us, there's a central, there's a lateral, and there's a canine. And if a patient wants white color of teeth, and they are not the same with the natural one, why do you think that you give him the white? Because that is what he wants.
I will tell you a story. In this room over there was sitting a patient. She was 86 years old.
Wow.
It was a very elegant lady. She was well dressed. She had a lot of jewelry, and you see, she enjoyed her life. She was really good. Her body was okay so far, but she was old. Yes, doesn't matter at all. And I said she wanted to have a B1. And I said, oh dear, that's not possible. No, I took out the B1 out of my shade guide. That was it. And she has seen that there was missing one. Yeah, she has seen that the B1 was out. and wanted to know what it is. And I said, it's not possible. You can't do that. And after a while, she didn't give up. She said, this is what I want. Oh God, no, it's not possible. You cannot have these white teeth. Look at your face, look at your hair, look at your skin. It's not fitting. Young man, she said, listen, I have enough money. I have enough jewelry. I have a good life. The only what I want to have from you is white teeth. Give me the white teeth or I go. Since that, I never ever discussed again with people about shape.
Permit us to laugh a little. This is very serious.
She was amazing. And now we did the dentures with B1. I think it was 4 weeks later. Her neighbor was coming. I want the same teeth like Mrs. Yeah, and she also got B1. Yeah, it is.
Okay, I think the point is very clear now. The patient has to determine what he wants. Even though it violates the convention, we give the patient what he wants. But many times, once you, as a practitioner, you see a denture or a crown or a bridge that is not fitting, it will not be right for you to jump to a conclusion that the person who fabricated it don't know what he's doing, because it might be just be what the patient wants. Okay, fine. Before I ask another question, I think Victor Ibrahim wants to ask a question. Victor, can you put up your question now? Victor and Michael, any one of you online can speak now.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
I don't understand.
Oh, sorry, we cannot hear you. It's dragging. Your internet is not very strong. We cannot hear you. Sorry.
Olifemi, sorry, let me interrupt. How long do we have time?
For me, I have enough time, but for every of our colleagues here, they may not have as much time.
So give me a 2-minute break, please.
2 minutes break.
Is it okay?
Okay, fine, no problem.
I'm back.
Okay. You're welcome back.
Thank you. Sorry for the break.
Yeah, one of us asked a question while you are away. He said, is it possible, because you said in one of your statements that it is a waste of time, money, and material for anyone to build a ceramic and go back to start trimming and grinding it. Is it the question he asked? Is it possible for anyone?
Sorry, I could not understand.
Okay, the question is this: you said that it is a waste of time for anybody to build the ceramic and afterwards begin to grind it again in order to get the shape or whatever he wants. You said it's a waste of time, material, and money. And the question now is it possible to start and finish a ceramic job without trimming at any time?
You mean the one bake?
No, maybe after several bakes, maybe in first bake or second bake, until you finally obtain a job. Do you mean
to put a new layer on the surface? Yeah, it's possible. It's no problem at all. It's rough enough.
Okay, so it is not bad to trim.
No, it's not necessary.
It's not necessary.
No, it's not necessary at all. I never do it. You see, even if I, for example, if I do something in the occlusion, you sometimes have in the molars, you have some gaps in the fissures, and you have to close the articulator, and you have to grind a little bit in occlusion, and you have leftovers from occlusion foil, for example. I just leave it and put the ceramic on and put it in the furnace, and that's not necessary. The only thing that's absolutely necessary is that your framework, the first layer of your framework, this must fit perfectly, and this must be cleaned perfectly. Don't touch it with the fingers. Clean it with the steamer. Don't sandblast it. Don't touch it with the fingers. Clean it with the steamer and put on your liner or your opaque, nothing else, nothing more.
Okay, I think this kind of work comes with experience. It is not,
absolutely, yes.
It's not for beginners at all. Yeah, I think I got that right. Any other question from any of our colleagues so that we can finish and end the session? Any questions?
Yes, sir. Yes, can I still ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, from the little experience that I had, sometimes after baking, there will be crack on the crown, on the porcelain. There will be a crack on it, and they have made it known to us that at any point of the process, it's possible to adjust and amend. So when you have a crack on your porcelain after finishing, what is the best procedure to follow to amend?
Okay, if I understand it right, you asked me for cracks during firing. Really? Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It is cracks during firing, in special on zirconium. They are coming from, how to explain? You have, on one side, you have the ceramics as a material. On the other side, you have aluminum, zirconium oxide or metal. It depends on what you use. And you heat from outside to the inside. And cracks occur if the inside is not warm enough. That means that you have to give more time to heat it up. And very important is the temperature at about 500, 550 degrees. Most furnaces start at 400 degrees or 600 degrees. The older ones start at 600 degrees. Mine started at 400, and I do a break at about 520, I think it's actually, must look 520, to give the material time to settle at the same temperature. It's more important in zirconium because zirconium is a good heat conductor, but it's not a good temperature conductor, but it's not a good temperature transporter. You know, it's sticked in there, and you need a long time to get it warm inside. And if it's outside, it's hot, and inside it's cold, you get cracks.
That's great. Okay, I think Victor, you got that. Now, let me say something now, in the absence of anyone asking question immediately. You talk about 3-dimensional painting and 2-dimensional painting.
Yeah.
I'm not very clear about that. I'm not sure every one of us is clear either.
Yeah. You see, if you paint any picture, you have normally, an example, you paint a tree. You look on the tree and see the tree as a 3-dimensional thing, object, a 3-dimensional object. And you put it flat down on your paper as a 2-dimensional object. Okay. And the difference, what we do, if we have to see, we have to build a 3-dimensional object. And it's the same if you can paint with these ceramic materials and with these brushes. You can build with the same material. You can build a picture. You can make a picture, paint a picture. But this picture has to get a volume. But it's a picture. You know, nothing more. It's a picture. And if you have to learn what you see to be able to make a picture. I will really give you, you know, my daughter also is a dental technician. And she had problems to see the surface of a molar. She was not able to see the surface of a molar. And I gave her a piece of wax, and I said to her, do a horse. And she did a horse, and it was almost perfect. She loves horses, and she exactly knew how a horse is looking, because she was looking on a horse very often. So she was able to make a little horse in wax.
Okay.
And after that, I said, your tooth is nothing different than a horse. Just look on it. And suddenly she got it.
Okay, I think I got the difference now. I was thinking of something else when you made that statement. Finally, let me ask one question again. I observed that you use different pens to shade the color of the ceramic. Won't that interfere with the chemical composition of the ceramic, or the color is innate? I mean, it doesn't react with ceramic.
No, normally it depends on what ceramic system you have. We have in the modern ceramics. I don't know what you have, what possibilities you have, but in the normal modern ceramics, these colors, they are added to the system. They are usable internal staining also. What is not possible is using glaze. Glaze is something totally different. Glaze is laying on the surface, is sticking on the surface, has nothing to do with the material itself. But you have two different types of these shades of these colors. The one is metal oxides, and they lay in there and do nothing. You have metal oxides to adjust your color in the ceramic also. So this is not a problem. Sorry. The other ones are glass particles, colorful glass particles. This is what I'm working with. And also my ceramic, where I build up, is glass ceramic, you know. So it is able to use the system completely without glaze. That's important. No glaze. Okay. Everything else, if you have, for example, what brand of ceramics do you have? These also Chinese products?
Yes, I'm Fighter.
Okay, but I think your supplier will give you the answer. It's not. I think it's not a problem. I also have a Chinese ceramic here, and it's fantastic. If Chinese can one thing, it's doing porcelain. Yeah, they know how to do it, and I think your supplier will give you the answer if it's possible or not. But a modern system is possible normally.
Okay, fine.
The percentage, in my case, the percentage is about 5% where I can add. After that, it will change the firing temperature, you know.
Okay, I think, yeah, sorry for interrupting you. I think you've really gone far with us, so we really appreciate that. And we wouldn't want to take you too far. Already you've gone far for us. We have been here for over 2 hours now. We really appreciate your sacrifice and time. My colleagues also, I'm sure, are very happy with this time with you. I don't know if there's anyone who has question again, so that we'll let Hans go and have a good evening. Any question, one or two before we go? Okay, if there's no question, please can anyone say a word of thank you to Mr. Hans? Everybody can talk now. I have unmuted everybody.
Okay. Thank you very much for the audience. It was a great pleasure again. And I hope we have the chance to do something different again. And I don't know when. Unfortunately, I have...
Please go ahead.
And I don't know when I'm fit again. It's not a big thing, but it must be done. And so I think we will see us anyway again. with another topic, for example, or more intensive with this topic. Depends on you what you need. Okay?
Yeah, thanks so much. We may want another topic I will discuss with you or go intensely on this topic.
Okay.
We really appreciate your time with us. So guys, thank you for your audience and time for associating with Dental Technology Africa. We appreciate you. God bless everyone in attendance. Mr. Hans, thank you. And bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.